As your car.
So when you got famous, when you became internationally famous, in fact, was it what you expected? Were you prepared for it?
I don't think anything's what you expect in this life, is it, really? I mean, most of us aren't expected to end up in a sort of 6-foot hole, you know.
So well, you know that's one thing you know for sure you're going to do.
No, but I mean, it's like, you know, sort of, I was thinking about it today on the way up here, the way people fight for land and fight for things, and in the end, all they get is 6 feet, which is quite sad. You know, I just think that's a really weird thing.
Mm. But what about going back to those other days? I mean, you said you sought psychiatric help and...
No, that's recently, not earlier.
Well, recently, yes, but I mean, I'm sort of going
I
from
never
there
used to think I was mad, but I know now.
But did they suggest to you that it was perhaps that you had an unhappy childhood? Did you have an unhappy childhood?
I don't think it was any unhappier than anybody else's. I mean, you know, I couldn't stand my father, but most kids can't, I don't think. We know when they hit you and... I mean, I suppose, you know, if I sort of looked back at it in a frivolous way, I would say, oh, it was hideous, you know, because I didn't really like being a child. I love it now, though. But, I used to kind of, like, resent authority. I mean, I always have resented authority. I hate being told what to do. And I hate to do things if I know that it's like, I don't know, if the motives aren't right, I don't like doing things, you know, I just think it's spooky. But, I mean, I used to sort of, I had quite a good childhood, I suppose, but, I mean, I only remember the horrible things.
Yes.
Like,
but what kind of strain did it put on your family, do you think? I mean, no matter what you might have thought about them at that time. I mean, there you were, sort of going out, getting dressed up in all kinds of stiletto heels and frocks and God knows what else. And there you are living in southeast London.
It's quite normal in Woolwich, a lot of guys do that.
But they do it on the train, they change on the train, yes. But, I mean, did it put a pressure on the family? I mean, did that cause a disturbance within the family routine?
I think it's kind of, my parents were like, they just couldn't believe I was doing it. My mum used to say things like, during the punk period, they used to be like sort of, you know, I remember the Boomtown Rats were on TV and one of them had pink socks on and Mum said, oh, look at his socks, aren't they funny? And I was like sort of really dressed up and like, you know, birds in my hair and stuff like that. And she never used to notice that. She just used to like think everyone else was a freak and I was quite normal, which was great. She used to sort of like say, you can't go out dressed like that, the neighbours. And I used to say, you don't speak to our neighbours. So what does it matter what they think? Because we never spoke to anyone where we lived.
Yes.
Because we moved from like suburbia, because my mum had too many kids, so they gave her like a sort of posh house in Shooters Hill, South East London, and none of the neighbours used to speak to us because we were like the sort of ragamuffins that had moved in on them, you know.
I suppose you got a lot of reaction from your contemporaries, from the kids around you. It would strike me that you'd have to be one or two things in that situation. I mean, as exotic and flamboyant as you were, either a fighter or a runner. I mean, which for you?
I think verbally, I'm a fighter. Physically, I'm a coward, absolutely. Always have been. You know, I don't make any pretense about that.
But what's the worst confrontation you've had then in that situation, where you come face to face with somebody who's antagonistic because of the way you looked, the way you appeared?
People, I don't know, the more dressed up you are, the less people come near you. Like, I mean, in the old days, I mean, now, because I'm famous, people like go. I mean, I get it all the time, you know, people, you know, sort of queer, you know, and stuff like that, you know, which is kind of a compliment, really. But they just don't know it. And
why is it a compliment?
Well, you know, because they think it's a major insult to call you that.
Yes.
And it just isn't, you know, I'm happy.
Yes.
It's like, I don't, you know, when people call me a puff, I just think, yeah, they're right. Because I am a puff, you know, a major puff.
What's the difference between a major puff and a minor puff?
Well, a major puff is someone who's just, like, happy and, like, you know, pleased with themselves, you know. I'm not a successful homosexual, that's another kind of person. They're horrible. They're the worst, you know, kind of people that sort of, you know. But, you know, I'm just a normal person that's happy with my sexuality. I mean, I'm very happy with it.
What about, was there a moment in time where you told your parents that you were gay?
No, actually. I've never told this story before. This is how my parents found out that I was one of them. I was actually going on this guy and I went to meet him at the airport and I got arrested by the police. And I was really punky, you know, and I had all this paint all over my clothes. They said, you're too young to be out of this. It was like about, wasn't I about 15? And I was underage. And, sorry. And my parents, they called my parents, you know, and I had to tell them. So it was really unpleasant telling them, but they got over it.
What was the reaction, the immediate reaction there?
My mum said, like, why didn't you tell me? I said, it's not the sort of thing you can drop over the cornflakes, is it? Oh, by the way, 2 sugars, please, and I'm, you know. I mean, it's not something you can do. So, I mean, my mum was more, my mum was sort of funny because my dad was brilliant. My dad, I mean, I thought my dad was going to kill me. I was like, he'll hate me, you know. I mean, really seriously. To be serious, I thought he was going to hate my guts. I thought, that's it. It's just what he was looking for, I thought, you know, an excuse to hate me. And he was brilliant. I mean, my dad, as butch as he is, and believe me, he's butch.
Do you think that entire scene that you're involved with the sort of the gender bend, as it became known as, that moment in time when you had this huge tribe behind you in London, do you think, looking back, that you had a persuasive effect on attitudes toward homosexuality?
I don't think so, no. I think people are either intelligent or they're not.
You mean
you can't make people intelligent? You know, people... I mean, I'm not talking about sort of IQ or anything like that. I'm just talking about common sense intelligence, you know. It's, you know, it's like... I take, for example, my little sister, she's 17, you know, and I talk to her about boys all the time, you know. Well, she thinks it's quite normal. You might snigger, but she thinks it's perfectly normal. And it's like, if she thinks someone's cute, she goes, "Oh, he's nice." And if I don't agree, I tell her otherwise. But it's very normal, you know. But I've never borrowed my mum's makeup. She's like the green eyeshadow brigade.
What of the just the fans? You never fancy green eyeshadow?
No, no, Chuck.
What about the press reaction, of course? Because I mean, you've always had this talent, I mean, huge talent for attracting the media attention, and it's interesting the sort of the extremes of that. I mean, I just picked out 3 quotes. One from the Times Literary Supplement, which said you were striking a blow for genuine, unself-conscious self-expression. And then 2 of the tabloids, which shall remain nameless, who described you as naughty boy, George.
That means the sun.
Yeah. Well, hang about, because the worst is yet to come, or a puff with muscles.
I think that was one of my own quotes.
That was one of your own quotes, was it?
Yeah. See, I find, I mean, one thing that I learned in the beginning of my career as a singer, I saw Dolly Parton doing a press conference, and she made jokes about her boobs, you know, and it was like she got them in before anyone even had a chance to sort of, because it's obvious that the press are going to say, you know, how are your titties, Dolly, you know. And so she got all the jokes in, like about her wigs and stuff. And I've kind of decided that, you know, it's better to sort of make, you know, with the press are pretty stupid when it comes, and they're not good writers. And what they do is they sort of like, I mean, you read the headlines yourself, you know, they're like kind of ridiculous headlines, but they want to get as much about, you know, the scandal in the headline as possible, you know. So some of it's really badly written, as you probably noticed. But they just sort of, I don't know, they create like an alter ego for you, the press. That sort of, it's, you know...
But of course, I mean, in your case, I mean, having said that you brilliantly exploited it, I mean, you found out, of course, it was a double-edged sword, didn't you? Because when things started going bad for you, my word, then they jump on you. But
life's a double-edged sword, isn't it? So, I mean, you know, why should they be any different? I mean, it's... Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. I mean, you know, I often, like, whenever I see a new band, I say, judging by what they say themselves, because it really is down to your ego. I mean, I was quite egotistical when I started, and probably still am, but I come across as a big head, because I like talk all the time, and I'm very... But that's basically because I'm very insecure, but I love talking. And with the press, I just talk and say whatever I feel. And what they do is they scrape off the slimy bit on the top, you know, and then feed it to the public. It's like... So, I mean, they never get your humour. They never get your, you know... I mean, if you read the press, you wouldn't think that anyone... I mean, you'd think Joan Collins was like Margaret Thatcher, you know. I mean, Margaret Thatcher's trying, but, you know, I think Joan... No, you'd think she was really hard, and Joan Collins is a really sensitive person. She's like a little kid, I think.
We'll stop the talking there for a moment. Okay. We'll take a break there. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.